Welcome to the Word Bible Software and thewordbooks.com. Today we're going to be digging further into the Word Bible Editor. We're specifically on version 3.1.8. On 3.1.8. There's been various updates and additions. One is the Bible Project. We're not going to get into that one today. I'm choosing to deal with basically the main functionality. That's something you can dig into. But you'll see here your file. That's still the same. We have a Bible Checker. We'll get into that later. We have Bible Options, Help. There's a new addition, Bible Quality Control. Bible Editor Help has been expanded. And things. So I'm going to go roughly over some different items that may be newer. Let's see I'm trying it out a little different webcam down here. So let's see. Trying kind of like a green screen look a little bit. Let's see here. Let's see if it lets me. It doesn't look like it's going to let me change that much. Okay. No, that looks about right. Okay, so in here, it's kind of like a green screen, but you can tell it'll show some background items if I move around too much. So let's dig in here. So in the interface, you'll follow my cursor up here. We're in Bible Editor. We have Find and Replace, References, and Swap Character. Most of these you've seen before, but Bible Editor has been adjusted some. We're currently on line 5, Matthew 1:6, which actually that's not correct because there's actually no Bibles in here right now. So let's go to there, and going down you can see different items here. These markups. Note hints are used. I try to use those often to explain items. You can usually see them in a hover or down here in the status bar area. If it's a newer feature, that's what I at least try to do, hopefully, so you can follow along and try to get into that. Later on, as time permits and things, or get reminded, things try to show up in Help. And we're going to open up the Bible Editor Help and just move it out of the way for now. We'll get back to that. There's different items in here. These are Bible mapping and general before build. This is when you like importation and things like that. These are some items during build, and then these are some items for quality control. So we have, let's go ahead and load a regex rule. This is the one we've used in the Word, and we're going to go ESV, USX, Bible T. And for those that don't know, you can go in the Regex editor. There's some videos in regard to that. Go ahead and check those out. Going back to Bible Editor, you can load from file. There's an option to auto load from Regex file now. So if you, let's say you edit the Regex rules in an external editor, it'll update it as you import items. You have a pin to the Bible. So instead of doing a newer, like replacing everything, it would append to what's ready on screen. You can edit file. You got your regex rules files if you do that. And then final regex build is, let's say you had 20 different files you loaded in. This uses the regex that you specified in the regex rules file. It uses those. So let's go ahead in the Bible sorter. So add files and import all. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. You go ahead and bring it in rather. And then this will actually let you, once it's brought them in, this lets you move items around. I told it actually to go ahead and import at the same time. I'm not wanting to do that right now. So if I was to select here, I could drag Exodus up above Genesis. Now, this works quite well in Bible Project. If you have a Bible project, it saves it in that order, those files. If you don't have a project, this is something you'll have to either wrestle with each time or do as we did here and go 001, 002, etc. Okay, so let's go ahead and import. Let's go import. You have add files, replace file, remove all files, add files, and import all, and import this file. I am just going through and doing Ruth. Notice here, you'll see the 5 seconds for info. This is, if there was 5 seconds, it'll show what was going on. These are milliseconds, and there's not much between different things going on. It imported it quite fast, and so you don't see. If there was a really complicated regex, sometimes it can take a long time, especially if it was done on a final regex build, and that's where you'll see more and more messages. We're trying to limit the messages so we can get faster imports. So continuing on. Now I said we'd look at Bible help a little bit. So you've got your, right here, the regex tags, or right up in here. And one of the things that I pointed out here is they're adjusted by map file. You can see that down in here. But also, these used to be like less than sign, and then the tag, and then greater than sign. However, because we wanted to do better quality control, we needed to get away from that. And so we went over to curly brackets. And so try to update your files to curly brackets as you can. There's various ones that you can go through. Some of these may be newer, and you can take a look at those. We're going to jump now over to the Bible verse panel here. And there's also video helps online that basically goes to a YouTube playlist. So let's go over to Bible verse panel. I'm going to go here and I'll go down through and explain some items, and then we'll look at it. And so I'm going to move the help out of the way. So we have it off now. I turn it back on. It's in this area down here. We have our word wrap on currently. Let's bring in a verse. So to get in here, if you go hold your line over this, it says hold control, then click on a verse line. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to right here. So it says Genesis 1:1. Well, we've imported this file out of order. So let's just do the import of Genesis, and so we can kind of keep things lined up. Going in here now, let's go to Genesis 1:1 and control click, and it brings up we have, and we're going to go down through these items. We're not on the New Testament, so if you were just doing the New Testament, you'd click that on up, click that, and then it would update here. So let's go in and also over here, and you can see New Testament only here again. Okay, so we have, let's turn these all off. So we have original. Let's turn that on. And that's a decent one to start off with and try things out. Let's go ahead, and that's in red or maroon, and then turn on apply verse rules. These are items like your verse rules to let you check through. It could be these ones, but I believe it is, if I remember correctly, it is right here in the configuration, the verse rule and tag rules. So these are some different items that deals with it. There's one verse rule. Now also verse rules, let's show them on, look like this. So we don't have the verse BI, and we don't have this tag anymore. Well, actually, let's go ahead and turn it on one more time. Okay, so yes, it gets rid of all this item all the way up to there. And so and these are verse rules now. Verse rules are also something that's done internally. There's a few additions, as you can see. It doesn't have like the TS1, etc., the title ones and stuff like that. Now so we've applied it. We could turn them off if we turn them on, or we could do like this. Now apply verse rules would then apply to strip tags, or it would adjust some things like that. Strip tag doesn't have any of these tags throughout. Now mark regex. So this is connection to the Regex Checker and the verse rules checker. These are for quality control. They help you develop a cleaner look in your Bibles and try to match up more and more with the Word, where we're at in the Word. So if I was to put a double space in here and go up in here and go to next, it would stop me and it would say multiple spaces. Okay, there's a multiple space issue. Let's turn that, let's get rid of that. Let's add in another, well, let's leave it in there and let's add another one in. So let's go in here, go again. So now we have two errors. We have broken tags, we have maybe a general punctuation because that's a space one also. Let's go into one more. Let's add in another, and now we have a space at the end of the line. So we need to fix some of these. Whoops, just don't take the line out. And let's go in here and get that back in, and let's see. Oh, did we get them all? Oh, what if I just click on here? Let's see. Nope, not that one. We still have that because we've told it to mark the regex. Oh, well, we could turn that back off. Now, let's get this removed. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so now we've stripped them away. Let's do another one. But over here, we're going to do a double, and then we're going to do another one down here. Okay, so let's go to Bible Build, and we'll go over to Build, And let's turn off these ones right now. For now, we want only original on, not this one. And we're just going to use the basic checker, which it's not basic in any sense. It does a lot. We're going to do it on the original. So in here, it tells us there's a broken tag on line 6. In the other ones, it says investigate this line. And there's also a case wrong in a tag. Which should be okay, that could be because of the double tag. So let's go in here to, if you hold down Control and click on where it says Bible line, or you just say click. Oh, it's like no, do it on the Bible line one. So jump over there. Okay, we'll move this out of the way for a sec, and it tells us there's a lot going on. There's several things that are wrong here. So we're on Bible line 6. Let's take that one out and that one out. Okay, very good. So we fixed those 2 errors. Let's try it again. Okay, now there's a case wrong on ending tag on line 50. We need to investigate that one. Let's go into line 50. Let's see, what do we have wrong there? This is the, so this doesn't, line 50, it says there's a line. What's going wrong here? It says there's something on, if I understand this right, I, and it should be I. Okay, let's go. Looking in here, it says case investigate. Aha, you see that? There's a double, there's the I there, and then there's another I. That means it's missing one, or in this scenario, it's a double like that. Okay. It's okay. This is one of those cases where it would be okay because there's a surrounding I and an I. But that helps you look through problems. So let's go ahead and turn on. Let's apply these verse rules. And this one, and check for those. Okay, now I'll go in. So, look at all these guys. Okay, go to this. We have multiple spaces. Let's go to line 7 and see if we can find our multiple space issue. Says it's in here, and it's right before multiple spaces, expanse. So let's go to expanse. And that was line 7. So go in here, get that one out. You wouldn't, by the way, the best way to do this is if you actually had an error, was do that in your verse rules when you import it. Otherwise, if you do it like I'm doing, you can imagine how I would miss that space, and I'd have to do it and redo it and redo it. That's why the repetitive nature of TotheWord is important. We want you to do regex rules first, and then make sure they repeat, and then go through. Try not to do manual editing. That turns into way more work in the long run. And let's say this ESV 2016 becomes ESV 2020 or 2024, since they're working on about 50 changes now, and then we'd have to deal with that. And so don't. Do your best not to do manual editing. Even though it seems quick in the moment, it's long in the long run. So let's go back in here. Let's do a Bible build check again. On screen check. And it says, let's see, it says the I, tells us a little bit about the I. There's another one down here. We could go in and try to strip some of these out. Different things we could look at and see what we would do. But that gives you some ideas, and gives you some ideas of how to deal with that. Like, why is there a double like that? The verse rule checker in here really ties into when it says apply VR. It deals with, you can see it a little bit more visually here. Right in here, it strips out some items, and you can see here it removed these items. Took out the verse item. See if I'll show you what I mean. So this is verse rule checker. You're not going to see that VRBI in, do like this, in you won't see it in the word. So that's the idea behind this verse rule checker. It's not, and you also really do want to make sure you have things like right here, the CMLI, etc. So let's go in here. Let's save the verse rules right here to template. so we can check it out. So if I didn't, let's see, come on. I'm double checking if I'm understanding this right. I want to turn this one back on. Because some of these are basic ones and they wouldn't be in here anyway. So I'm not 100% certain that that's not what we're going to get. So if well, I'll just do a simple one to show you. Let's say I wanted to do RF. And it takes them all out. Let's go in here, Bible, save to template. And this, I believe, let me see. It has been a bit since I've got to this, the verse rule checker. I believe it strips all those out. There's some reasons to those. Oh, there we go. No. And so let's go in here. And I'll just make a simple one. If I can do this, rule equals God. Okay. Bible checker, save to template, and if I did this right, it's been a bit since I've used those, but it would work something like what I'm showing you. And I think the Regex Checker, what is that one loaded? Yes. It has been a bit since I've got in this. Well, it's good to think through these things. I'm trying to refresh my brain on how the verse rule checker works. I know over here, if I go into this and I add in a verse rule, this one, and I do like that and go back in, see, it'll take out the name God. But so these apply first, and then let's go back in here to editor. So God shouldn't be taken out anymore. It wasn't loading it like it needed to. Okay, we're going to do a test here. Let's save it over. Let's just do a test. Okay, so we took out God and we took out light. Yes, I had an error. Actually, let's go back in here. Let's make sure this gets saved also. It's been a bit since I've done some of these. There we go. So I need to work a little bit on, they're not activating quite right is what's kind of going on there. Because if we go out and take these out, and then go file, save VR check now, and go in here, it's just not saving it quite right. So we just want them to reload. Let's make them reload one more time. And we'll go in here and config Bible, save config, and then go back in here. There we go. We just I need to trigger a save there, and that's something I'll try to work on for 3.1.9. But that now you kind of navigated a little bit with me. So what that does is this causes things to get turned. You can adjust the text. Maybe for some reason you don't want this in here. And God, that's just you wouldn't do that on purpose, I believe, but maybe if it was for you were checking an error, checking a certain portion, and then you were doing that. So let's go here, click this, and now, and so we're going to cause it to be saved one more time. We're going to go in here and cause that to be so it reloads. I'll go over here and back and do it. So, and I just need to make an adjustment to that. So that, there we go. And it triggers it because I jumped to Bible Build and back. So for right now, I would suggest if you need to trigger a save it of course, jump back and forth and it'll reload. And then if you want to try it again, we'll go like that. We'll save it. It should stay. Jump to this one, back again, and it's now triggered. So just that'll trigger for now, but that should be fixed in the future, and hopefully 3.1.9. Hopefully this video has kind of gotten you digging in and thinking about how can I check my quality. We've tried in this Regex Checker and Verse Rule Checker to go through most of the main items. I do want to cover a little bit more here in the, let's go back in here, in the Regex Checker, and of course go through the help, check it out. So here in the Regex Checker, you have different things, and we've seen that over here in Bible Build. There's some items, max line errors, how many errors, like if you have 100 errors, it won't go beyond that. And that is talking about these Bible errors right here. Or things to investigate. Error or investigate, that's up to you. But check that the single tags are standardized, and you can see a little bit of the hint there. Check for broken tags, bad Unicode. Error check only, so if you went into here and build Bible instead, it would only do error check on screen. You can do certain ones. This Regex Checker is the same one here. I will show you what I mean. So if I put test here and I hit go to save because I want to just do a simple one. If I go test here and then you go to Bible Build, it'll say test. So just so you know. And then if I change anything here, it will also be over here. So continuing down through here, we have a comment area. The comment area is this one. It starts with question mark and then a number sign. And in that comment area, we've chosen to add in some important information for you and for the Regex Checker and Verse Rules. So right here and there, we first define what it is. So I'll show you a multiple space error, because that's what that one was. It says multiple spaces. So if I go like test, and then I go in here again, and let's introduce a multiple space error here, and then we have multiple spaces. Well, that's another area that might need a little bit of updating, because we're going to go to Bible Build, and it should trigger. Let's go here, and then there. So my multiple spaces. So we've triggered it. These are areas I just need to trigger. So you can, if you have trouble, just go to Bible Build and back, and it should reload. So that's just a trigger. Okay. So back to multiple spaces. Next, it says Regex OVS. That means we're going to operate on the original line, the verse rule line, and the stripped tag line. Very good. Next one, we have RGB right here. That's just a color. That lets us know it's going to be light blue here, or that teal blue there. And let's see, in verse rule, we have it again. I believe there might be another one. And also in original. Some items to look at there. Okay, continuing down, we go down to another one. Well, let's just add a space at the start of the line so you'll get a good idea of what that looks like. So now trigger that one. So we have 2 errors there, and it shows us. Okay, continuing down, we have options M. So down here at the very bottom, it says Regex options, all options, and these are a lot here. Single line, R for return new line, and there's a lot more. These are Regex